right before the whistle, right before the big snap on defense. You know, you gotta get the crowd.
Oh man,
Get them all like, you know what I'm saying? So I was doing that, getting the
is
crowd
that is
into
that
it.
is that not taunting? Because I've seen a lot of videos where people get flagged for taunting.
Nah, man. Before the snap, like that's all you get. That's always part of the game, man. Like I mean, if you're doing it after you make a play, yeah, like after a sack or a
Yeah.
big play, you can't do that. But before the play, do all you want. Score a touchdown, you can do a bit. Now they let you do a bit of taunting and shit now, a bit now.
So last week, I heard you discuss the fantasy league. I just want to update real quick. Let's do
I
that in
won
the cold
week one.
open. You won
I
week
won
one.
week one. I won week one. It was a nail biter for a bit. I was looking like the evening game was gonna be make or break until one of the guys finally decided to break out. Week one is always a tricky one unless you have some surefire bets, which I don't even think you call anything a surefire bet. But I won week one. Week two, I'm playing the defending champion.
So how does this work? The players that you select on your team, they go out and they play in the real world.
Yeah,
and according to their stats, it
it-
affects your game.
it's I guess you could say calculated a certain way. The scoring for everybody scores a certain way. Each quarterback, a touchdown. If anyone scores a touchdown, it's 6 points. But the number of catches we play, like I said, we play in a PPR league. So every catch is at least 1 point. Then you add up the amount of yardage to the catch. The longer touchdown, let's say a regular touchdown is 6 points regardless. But let's say it's like a 40, 50, 60 yard touchdown. As it goes up, it adds those points onto it. So a longer touchdown, bigger play. You know what I'm saying?
So let's say you had like a Jerry Rice and you were down, and then Jerry Rice does like this 60-yard catch and then runs it for a touchdown. That boosts your whole shit.
You get the 6, and then it's like an extra 3 or 4 because of the length of the play.
This is math.
It's math, man.
It's all
we
math.
don't calculate it. The computer scoring and everything calculates it, but that's how it does it, man.
What do you use, FanDuel?
Nah, we use ESPN. We've always used ESPN. I know some people complain about it. You know what? Other leagues use like they actually to the decimal. Like this, we do it. It rounds up to to the next number. You know, some people play in leagues where it's like you score 121.6, you could lose to somebody who scores 1.1 point.
121.7.
Yeah. Like
So it's that detailed.
some leagues, like if I played in a league like that, I'd go fucking nuts. I couldn't do a league like that.
But you're the one that's monitoring this league, right?
Yeah, I'm commissioner in this league now.
So what is that? That makes you what? You give people the power to do trades mid-season? Or was it?
No, not really. Just I have control really of the back end stuff. Helping mediate any issues between.
So you're like the
teams,
IT
between the
guy for
league.
this.
Kinda like a glorified IT guy, kinda, so to speak. A little bit of other stuff going on there, but more said like, yeah, you gotta.
Is your brother in the league with you?
Yeah, he's in this league with me. He's
Honestly, for Zoe knows, I'm pretty sure he's gonna start mouthing off about this.
He won this week, but he's one who squeaked by, and his guy, I know who he played. I believe he had to work, so he had 2 guys in his lineup who were late minute scratches, and he had some points on his bench that should have helped him. So my brother squeaked by this guy not having a full lineup.
That's crazy. Well, Danny's not here today, so it's a weird feeling. This is the first one we're doing without Danny in a long time. So wherever he is right now, we want to wish him the best.
Yes.
And we hope that everything is great
Everything's
in the West
A-OK.
Coast. Is Texas considered West Coast?
No, I believe that's the Gulf Coast.
The Gulf Coast.
I believe, or Southwest. I don't know.
I've never been to Texas. You ever been there?
Texas. Furthest west I've ever been is Louisiana to New Orleans.
I went to L.A. a bunch of times. I actually drove into Mexico from California.
You told me that. What was it like crossing the border?
It was like every movie you've ever seen. It was like you literally have, and it's sad at the same time, but it's like, yo, people got to earn their living. So everybody was just spread out like roaches, bro, just going up to cars trying to sell shit. And there's this huge line to get through the border. So you got at least a couple hours wait. So everybody, there was this one dude that he ended up selling us a bunch of shit. We got like this, it was like this moon spirit mirror or some shit like that we ended up having to give away because it looked too evil when we brought that shit home. You already know how that goes. But he started off, he wanted $60. And we was like, no. And we kept driving. He 40. We ended up getting that shit for like $15, bro. It's just like
That goes, man.
so. It was an interesting experience to say the least.
I mean,
I wouldn't do it again though. I'll fly next time. Fuck
yeah.
that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I drive just experience at least once, but I don't know, man. You know, there's people you drive with. Everybody likes to smoke now and thinks it's cool. Once you cross the international border, which that technically is, man. Like people think a crumb, man. Watching some of these shows, just a crumb of a clip. Like you can have just that little piece of tobacco, no weed left in it, but it has the residue on it, and you getting banged on. We've got one. We've got one with some reefers. We've got some reefers, guys.
Yeah.
And there's that one person there putting the glove on. Cavity search. Like, what the
Cavity
fuck?
time.
The fuck, man?
They ended up. It was the police out there that ended up robbing us.
In Mexico?
And they tell you that as soon as you go in, it was like, everybody take your money, hide it in the car somewhere, because the police stop you, and if they see you American, they'll take all your cash. They don't give a fuck. And they all had those real old like military green uniforms, fucking AR-15 looking shits.
Word. I've heard people tell me where they've gone all over. Like people tell, like the place where they tell you, yo, like in the area we at, the resort, amazing, beautiful, just oh my god, just out of this world. They say outside those gates is a different world. Don't go outside those gates if you're not on approved. And I've had people tell me like they're going to clubs, strip clubs, like outside the gates.
I didn't even do that.
Well,
bro.
and gotten robbed, and it's like, yo, like we knew what was up.
Bro, we're in the hotel. The hotel there was beautiful. I stayed in Tijuana, which is like they tell you to don't go to Tijuana.
Nowadays, I mean, now it's crazy, man. I don't know.
So we stayed at the hotel. We're probably like on the 5th, 6th floor, so we're pretty high up, and you still hear shots, screaming, shit happening right across the street.
Damn.
They were saying that there were like 14-year-olds stumbling out of the bar. So everything was wild. I didn't leave the hotel resort unless it was to go to the wedding, and that was like car service.
Chill, man. See, that's wild shit.
It was the craziest shit.
I don't know how. I don't know if I could have lasted doing something like that, man. Like that seems a bit extreme.
And then they told me to not drink the water, and my dumbass ate the ice. I'm here chewing on ice after the drink. Like, where did this ice come from? It's like that shit sent me running, bro.
Damn.
That shit, it's a whole different type of water out there, bro.
Man. Like I had one. I forgot one. I think one of my boys was in Thailand, and he said he had been drinking, and he went and drank the water afterwards without thinking about it, and fucked him up for a few days.
That's just no joke, bro. Those parasites that live in them shits. Even our water. If we test our water, there's parasites in that shit, and that's New York tap water.
I mean, New York tap water, man. I mean, we've been drinking our whole lives. Let's not stand here and lie.
We have. We're probably immune to that shit already. But at the same time, like I see a lot of videos where people just take water out of the sink and then put it like a little drop under a microscope, and you see little shrimp and shit like that inside of it. If that's here, bro, and we have this system in place.
I mean, New York City tap water is considered, let's be honest, to be some of the better tap water in the world. Nobody's saying tap water is amazing, but I've drank it my whole life, man. You know, we've drank it our whole lives. There were, people, there are like certain schools, I want to drink like tap water in the park from the jump offs.
I saw a meme that said if you drank tap water out of the park fountain as a kid, then you're immune to COVID.
Probably, man. I mean, I'm not saying I never did it. I did it at some of the newer parks.
I used to do that shit all the time, bro.
Sometimes. But like, that water would be, after playing balls, just like that, it was like that water was the shit.
It was what it needed to be. I just hate it when people put their mouth on the goddamn fountain.
Yeah.
And I seen a lot of people do that shit. It was like,
I seen that.
That shit is unnecessary. The shit's shooting up. Did you ever drink the tap water in school?
Did I? I gotta be honest here. I feel a few times, man. Definitely playing ball, man. Definitely in the gym. I have to say in gym, I had to. Just because, running up and down.
Sweaty McFuck. I don't ever remember drinking tap water out of school.
I would say gym. Man.
I used to drink the tap water out of Kingdom Hall. That church water.
Oh, that was a different level
Ice
of cold water, bro.
Ice cold.
Yo, there's there's some places, man, that just I had my boy put me on to an app I had on my old phone called Tap, and it was like all the dope, all like the really good tap water locations in the city. And bro, like it had them all. It had the joint across the street. Like I mean, I went home. I was like, let me see if this works in the hood. Like, yo, it had Grove Street, Linden, had other spots like offices. Like if you walk, like yo, they had, and it told you what type of water. If it was one of the ones with these, where you just put it under now, and it's like it has the little sensor there, and sensor, and you just pull it back and it stops. Like those
Barstool water. Basically going around fucking testing out different water fountains and rating them.
Yo, man, like people. There's a lot of people who I'm a water drink, like bottled water drinks. Yeah, that's cool. That's all. Ha ha ha. You know, but people who drink bottled water. You're some of the people that are damaging the environment the most, and that's one of the reasons. Like I consciously tried to make the effort to get one of these. Like, cause I've realized how many when I would work a shift at Dave & Buster's, the amount of fucking bottled waters I would drink, bro. I run through like 8, 9 of them motherfuckers in the night, bro. Just, it's hot. I'm walking around.
I drink the most water at night. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'll chug a whole goddamn.
But you don't drink water throughout the day.
I save it. I save it at night.
No.
Well, last week and the week before that, we said we were starting to structure the show. So with that being said, we're going to go into the media. All right. Oh, we got to shout out Plotagon for letting us use the avatars.
Yes, sir, man. We have to shout out Plotagon, man.
So did you see that Breonna Taylor, I guess her family
the
got...
settlement, man. Yesterday I saw that. That's
How much was it? 15 mil?
I think 12 million.
12 million?
12 million. So cool. It doesn't bring her back.
What are your thoughts on this?
It doesn't bring her back. Still haven't arrested the motherfuckers who shot her. You know what I'm saying? So pointless. Like, to me, it's pointless.
It's crazy how you just put a dollar amount on somebody's life and expect.
And I mean, one's been fired, the other two are still on administrative duty, bro. And it's like the more information that's come out about this, like, why aren't these guys arrested yet, man? Like, people are expected to resign. It's crazy. I don't mean to be smiling about this. I was just talking to one of our guests coming on, and she just made me laugh at what she said a little bit. It's insane, man. And I think this is supposed to placate them, like just pacify them, just here, you know.
Just take the money.
We're sorry it happened. It's our bad. Look, we're saying it's our bad. We trained them like this. I mean, I guess we have to take that responsibility. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's what they're saying. I don't know, man. The fact that last Thursday night, did you see the footage of that? The Chiefs and the Texans kicking off when they did the moment of unity.
Mm-mm.
Now, I have to say, because I saw a video the next day after that made me question it. And I know some people are going to get back at me on this, and I have to go back and find that video. It sounded like on the TV because it's a big stadium, almost 70,000 seats, I think maybe in Arrowhead. You're only allowing in like 30%, and they're all spread out. I told my dad, hearing that on TV, and like Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth kept just for emphasis, like, yo, there's no crowd noise being pumped in here. This is all real crowd noise. And I told my dad, I think the fact that even though it's only like 16,000 people in there, that they're so fucking spread out.
That it sounds huge.
It's bouncing all over the fucking place.
Surround sound.
And I know for a fact there were some people in that crowd booing, and you can hear it clear as day on national TV. Clearly booing. But there's someone in the stadium, and that guy was down closer to the lower level, and you heard so much smatterings of clapping. Yeah, let's make this right. Like it contrasted to what was shown on the TV, and I'm like, clearly, there's cameras all over the place, microphones. You're gonna turn them all on, and if it's echoing, bouncing all over like that, but that guy was in a section, and you could hear people clapping, but you could also still hear the booing. So, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people were like, yo, this is, it's supposed to be a moment. You're born a moment of unity. What does that say about you? You know what I'm saying?
I've honestly been trying to stay off of World Star and shit like that because I got to get rid of the negativity that I intake every fucking day. I'm just too many fucking shootings and bullshit happening. But the last time that I was on World Star, there was like 5 consecutive videos of just people. There was a black lady. She was jogging, and this white lady had a glass bottle in her hand, and she just flung that shit towards her, and immediately just started dropping M-bombs and shit like that. The lady wasn't even out in her way, bro. It was just sheer hate. And I feel like every time I go on the internet to see some shit, even if it's just to like escape reality for a bit, that's why I end up watching the same goddamn TV shows all the time. I'm still watching Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen and shit that doesn't make me feel like shit after I watch it. I seen this video, and on the flip side too, I seen this video where 2 cops were pulling this dude out of his car, and he's screaming, and he just grabs the gun out the holster and wipes both of them out.
I didn't see
And
that.
I'm
Where
just
the hell
like,
is that? Where the hell
holy
is that?
shit, this shit is on World Star.
Like that's that. I mean, I mean, it was a while when you wouldn't shut up about it, and I found myself going there. But I was finding myself seeing nonsense and like a lot of nothingness. So it's just not.
The thing that I liked about World Star was the fact that it didn't have the same filter that YouTube had. It's its own servers. So you get a lot of raw footage on that website. But you got to sift through all the bullshit, too. It's just like, and then you end up getting caught up, clicking on something, and you just see something
That's all it
gonna
is.
fuck your day
It's
up.
easier to get caught up in that than actually finding something on World Star Hip Hop. Honest to God, I feel it's easier to get caught up in the bullshit, the regular shit on your World Star, the shit that as society where it is right now, than it is to find something that's gonna improve your daily life. Honestly,
That shit is...
it's saddening.
And the way he killed that cop,
I didn't see that. I saw.
they showed 2 angles. They showed the body cam, and then they showed the car cam. So the body cam, when he first gets shot, you hear him screaming. Then the dude points it at his head, and his hand goes stiff. His hand is like this, and you just see his body going backwards. I was just like, oh my God, bro.
I like it. Why would you like? I wouldn't even want. Why would you even want to watch that? And then you're upset after the fact because you watched it. You're not upset at and you're not even upset at yourself for watching it. You're upset at them for putting it out there for you to watch it. But you have a simple choice: to not click it. It's that simple. It's that simple. I tell people this shit all the time. It's as simple as making in that fraction of a second, just doing something different. It's a fraction of a fucking second to do something different.
I gotta work on that.
It's not just you.
It's clickbait.
Not just you. There's a lot of people. These stories out. You have one simple choice: either remain knowledgeable to the fact that this shit is out there, and know how to decipher it through your life, or just don't fucking click on it. A lot of people.
I can't click on it. It has to be complete abstinence. you know, I'm an extremist, bro.
Word.
I ain't gonna watch just one video. I'm gonna watch the entire day's posts.
Yeah, man. I can't get wrapped up in that shit, man. Like I did find myself for some reason, whatever reason, man, getting a lot of sponsor videos on Facebook and YouTube, like gaming compilation videos, a lot of Modern Warfare clips, a lot of Red Dead Redemption stuff. So I found myself kind of watching those, seeing top 10 clips on that shit. But aside from that, man, like
Yeah, but top 10s are different.
like, but that's about it. That's the most you'll see me find myself looking at clickbait. And top 10's like old time sports moment, old wrestling moments, like shit like that. You'll catch me looking at clickbait for that. Maybe articles like 10 tallest buildings, dilapidated structures, shit like that. That that I've always
Shit that's
read.
not gonna ruin your fucking day.
I'll read those types of sponsored ads. But aside from that, man, this is shit I know is gonna make me upset, man.
I'll see.
Even I tell you, like as much as it, like I say, man, like these terrible moments that happen, man. Like I waited days to watch the George Floyd video, and I saw the second Sean King put it out, man. And the people were, I waited like 2-3 days before I watched it, man. I actually watched it in its entirety.
I mean, we've spoken about this shit before, but back in the day, you had to have a subscription to a website called Documenting Reality to see shit like this. And that shit was like $9.99 a month. It was like, remember Rotten.com? You remember Rotten, right?
I remember you. I mean, you
see all the fucking
before,
disgusting.
I never really went to Rotten. Like I said, I went there like maybe once, and it was like, nah. It's like, all right, this is cool. I guess these kids that I went to Rotten.com today. Like, I mean, can we see something cool? I need some game code cheats. That's really what I originally got on the internet for, man. Cheat CC, bro.
Woo!
Game facts. Remember game facts being
man.
stuck in a game and needing the game facts.
Oh man.
I still go. I still hit game facts, man.
Shout out to Cheat CC, man.
Yo, ain't not. You know what it is? There's not a lot of
Holy
games
shit.
don't have really cheat codes anymore, man.
Yeah, now it's
So,
patches and plugins and
Nah, I mean, as we gotta do to unlock shit, but I mean, a lot of the time it's after you beat the game or if you do certain shit, it'll give you stuff access. Like I've seen it in Grand Theft as you play. A lot of games as you play will give you codes that you could go, but it'll tell you if you turn on any of these codes, it turns off achievements. You can't unlock certain shit after it, and you have to restart the game or restart that save file, whatever thing turned off.
I remember people used to have the loose leaf paper with all the GTA codes written out. It's like
Well,
that shit was like playing a fucking accordion.
L1,
Típico.
let's see, L1, R1, R2.
Up, down, left, right. Up, down, left, right.
And it was L1, L1, L2, R2. Left down, left right, left down, left right. Left down X. It's like, yo, remembering those codes, man. Like it's like you did them so many times, and that they didn't change those codes for an entire generation. That was like 3 or 4 or 5 games that had those same codes in that generation.
Because they knew it was already instilled in everyone's brain. They saw what it did to people.
Like that was, man.
You want a tank?
What?
Should just fall from the sky.
Want to raise wanted level? I need to lower wanted level. I need my weapons. I need max armor. Yo, you know what's crazy though? Because now I told you on the one and on the 360 now when you downloaded those games, they came with the achievements, and if you use any codes, achievements turn off. So, yo, playing that game without codes, it's a lot harder than I remember.
GTA?
San Andreas, bro. Yo, trying to play that game and use no cheat codes, bro. Yo, no money. Actually having to buy and pick up weapons to fight. Actually, like having to train on weapons, bro. Like, yo, it's a lot harder than I remember. And you know what it is? We all played it and had so much fun. But it was designed to be like an RPG type game, and you had to do that. And
which is the one that you lent me for the 360? That's 4?
Yeah, I lent you 4. I sent you episodes. You have all 3 from 4. You have 4. Lost in the Damned and the Battle of the Gay Tony.
So I was playing 4. That was the last one that I was playing, and I wasn't using any cheat codes or anything like that. And the amount of frustration made me stop playing that shit, bro.
I remember, I forgot who it was. I want to say my Uncle Russell when he had first, retired. He had a PS3. He was playing Grand Theft Auto 4. And he asked me, he called me, he's like, yo, man, when do I get a gun, man? I was like, what are you playing? I was like, you playing Grand Theft Auto? I was like, man, I don't even remember. I
you gotta
played
look
that
on
so
the
long
map.
ago. Not online in the story mode. Playing online is frustrating. Even like trying to play 5 online, it's fun. But like it's sometimes where like I have to just turn off to where they can't kill me, bro. To like where it's like I can't shoot you, you can't shoot me. Let me figure shit out. Cause like I'm level 12, but these dudes been playing it since it came out. Its inception. They level 970. They flying around in jetpacks
with mods.
Nah, you're not allowed mods on the
platforms,
on the servers, on the actual official servers. You're not allowed
even
mods.
on the internet. Like if they
PC.
playing on PC,
if you not on the official server, if you're caught with mods, you get your hardware and shit gets banned. If you're playing on a private server, you have fun, do all that shit. They allow it, but the official Grand Theft Auto Rockstar servers don't allow it. But they have so much wild shit they've implemented into that game that
Just think about the technology that goes into that shit. The fact that they able to scan everyone's system that's patched in and see if they have mods.
The fact that they have this game originally came out in I want to say 2013 almost. I want to say originally came out in 2013.
Which one?
Grand Theft Auto 5. They re-released it.
It's been 7 years.
They re-released it when PS4 and Xbox One came out. They released it towards the end of the life on the last generation. Figured, hey, this is an amazing game. On the next generation, if we run with this and work with it, we can polish it up, clean it up. We can do so much more. Obviously, we know they saw the potential with the online service, and saw people played it, and they did. Like, that's really the microtransactions have fucking God knows how much money they've made off of that on Grand Theft Auto 5 alone. To the point where they really, I'm seeing they're teasing something finally coming to Red Dead Redemption, maybe in story mode, in the way of hopefully Undead Nightmare 2. But a lot of people, as vast of a story, as vast of a universe as Red Dead Redemption 2, the story mode is people complain about the online experience being lacking compared to GTA 5, and they really still spend so much time on GTA 5. That's why I keep telling people, even when I see when I see these ads and stuff, what it took to make Red Dead Redemption 6 and every Grand Theft Auto game, every Rockstar game that comes out gets pushed back at least 12 to 18 months, like somewhere. So usually it'll say 6, and then it's a year.
Red
then
Dead
by the time
Redemption
it's
is
done.
Rockstar. So it's basically the cowboy version of GTA.
Yeah.
Open world.
Open world. It's fun. Like that's what I have to tell me now. Oh, you ride a horse, like yeah, you think like it's annoying, but once you get the hang of it, it's easy.
It's no different than GTA then.
No. And then 2, like with everything in 2 is so much crazier than 5. Like
So
GTA 5.
they haven't said anything about a part 6.
Nothing official, but they said
'Cause I see fake trailers
it
popping
was like
up.
7,000 pages of script, like 300,000 lines. Like wow, 300,000 animations, 20,000 lines, like 600, 700 voice
God
actors.
damn.
Like it's crazy. Like next time, I'll find the meme. I liked it yesterday. I'll go through my previous likes after we get off fan show.
I want to see the credits for the game. I want to see how many people worked on that shit.
My shit is long. Like yeah, you can skip it, but I've sat through it. That shit's like a 15, almost 20-minute process. I feel. I might be exaggerating.
Because you're talking about 30, how much? 300,000? Something.
It said 300,000 animations, but like 700 voice actors. I think it said like
Yeah,
like
bro.
3,000 pages script of lines, like script.
Look at how hard it is to do a small project with certain people. Imagine having 300,000 fucking animations to complete, bro. That has to be a team of in the tens of thousands.
And when you
easily.
play that game in HDR or in 4K, man, I remember when my dad, I remember when I got it, I came home, installed it, but I had to work that night. My girl had got it for me for Valentine's Day. Like I was getting ready for, I forgot we were getting ready to go, and I got in the shower and I came out, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Who's this? And she's like, oh shit. I'm like, oh shit, it's Red Dead Redemption 2. I was like, holy shit. And when I went home, I installed it, but I had to work that night. So when I got home later that night, I finally got a chance to play it. And the way it starts up, in 4K, that shit is like it's a movie, bro. Like you're playing a movie. And my dad came in, he's like, yo, what movie is this? I was like, yo, this is the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2. He's like, oh shit, that looks real.
Shit.
Like my pops, my dad, he's like, holy shit, that looks real. Like it was
You was on your TV or on the living room TV?
mine.
I gotta see it on that shit.
Next time you come to the crib, bro, I'll restart the game just so you can see that opening, bro. It looks like the beginning of a Scorsese movie.
We need a new Metal Gear.
I don't think we're ever gonna get a new Metal Gear, man. Hideo Kojima left. Him and Konami had a beef, man. That's why people say why, even though 5 was good, why it feels incomplete at the end, because that was when the dispute started and he stopped working on the game and they just finished it without him. And then they made like that Metal Gear survival crap, and people were pissed. And he did like that Death Stranding, or whatever it is, that's out now with Norman Reedus is like the guy in the game.
Oh yeah,
That's
seen that shit.
That's Kojima. But I don't think we'll get a new. I honestly wouldn't. I'm shocked. I don't understand why Sony hasn't made a new Siphon filter yet, man. Like that's your property. I don't understand why I made a new Siphon filter.
Siphon was big. When Siphon hit PS1, like it was a
They
competitor
only made
to Metal
like
Gear.
one on PS2 and like nothing on PS3, nothing on PS. Like come on, man. Like
Remember the game Hitman?
have you
You
seen?
ever played
the new one?
Headhunter?
I played Headhunter a few times, not a lot. I remember it
I
though.
borrowed Headhunter from Nook.
I
one
borrowed
time.
it from Nook. I played it with Nook at his crib, and I borrowed it
Yeah.
from him.
You always used to get them obscure games that you never seen a goddamn commercial of. Because I never seen that shit on TV. I never seen that shit advertised
I
anywhere.
saw it advertised like in a game. Not even advertised, but I read the review. Actually, got a pretty decent review in the magazine, man. And it wasn't a bad game.
Game Informer?
Yeah. It's a little clunky, the controls, but a lot of those games, like some of those driving controls back then, trying to mix all those things were clunky.
So before we go into the next segment, we just got to give the people a reminder. Let me pull this up. Right here, we're live on 30 Days to Rock. Of course, this fall, September 22nd, through December 21st. We're going to have live in studio and mobile broadcasts. We're bringing out Merv. And, everything happens at 30daystorock.us. This is the one place where you can find all these fantastic shows featured here at First Live Studios in Bushwick, Brooklyn, 219 Central Avenue. Of course, this is home base, so everything but in Roach, you're gonna see a lot of it happening here. And even the stuff on the podcast, like I started cutting up a lot of the podcasts. A lot of that shit is up already.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that you'll find on Spotify and iTunes, or however you digest your podcast, those are clips from Good Morning Bushwick. Of course, we're here every Wednesday from 10 to noon. And this is a blessing, bro.
I'm sitting here trying to remember how to send you a message, bro. And I'm like, I can't remember how I usually send you messages, bro. I'm like, yo, why am I drawing a blank here, bro? And it's like we usually go on IG. Like, we don't text each other. We're usually in fucking IG. Like, we rarely send each other text messages.
You sent me a message?
Yeah, I sent you our next guest for Zonos. Yo, while we're at it, man, I told our homie, man, I got the hat today. Had it on. I was gonna rep it today, man. You guys see the new hat on. Repping the 1718 Collective. Our homies over there, Math and Sosa, repping the whole team.
Chip.
Got it from the homie Sosa. You can see everything, because he has, you turn your hat around, bro. Let them see yours, bro. You got it facing backwards. You had seen it. King Roach had his, the 5-panel joint. I got the dad hat style, but you can get them. You can see him. See what happens over there, man. Go check out 1718 Collective at 1718 Collective on Instagram. And go check out the dope hats or the dope products they have available.
And, of course, sstreetmedia.net.
Yes, sstreetmedia.net. And at sstreetmedia, man, on Instagram, man. Shout out to the whole team over there at sstreetmedia, man. They show so much love. I love going over there, check everything out.
I was there yesterday. Every Tuesday, I produce a show that they have, A Bridge Podcast. Shout out to Nard and Pat. And yesterday, they had, every guest that they have is like, big guests. Because these guys are like, They've been behind the scenes and a lot of stuff. They were all ball players, so they just know a lot of people. And last night, we had, I forgot the guy's name. I think it was Rod something. I'll show you after the show. But his mom opened up Diddy's first restaurant. Like she was Russell Simmons' private chef and all this shit. And he has this new franchise. He was actually responsible for franchising Rapid Realty.
That's fucking crazy.
He's responsible for that.
I kind of want to.
It's crazy.
There's nothing bad to say about that because I know, like, just franchising it ain't his fault. And some of the scumbag tactics across the board from real estate agents, man. But I've heard people say bad things about their experiences working with Rapid Realty.
I was at Rapid
because of what people told me. I remember what you told me. Someone else I knew. I had a buddy who started a Rapid franchise, and I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna ride it out here where I'm at, man. I know it's not great here, but I don't know if it's gonna be better there.
But the guy who franchises McDonald's doesn't have to eat at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So he's having filet mignon.
Yeah.
He's at Peter Luger's. So it doesn't matter what's happening to the bottom guys. Like, we just got that experience.
Yeah, we saw what it was, man. And like I said, it's across the board, man. It was a across the board experience, man.
But I've had that same experience with every realty that I was in.
I don't want to say every realty, man, because it started good.
I just wasn't.
There were decent moments
agent.
where I was. It just didn't end great, and there were some really bad moments that I feel, could have went better. But it is what it is. Things worked out for the better for me. I don't hold any grudges, man. It is what it is. Things worked out that way.
At least you closed deals.
I had a goal to do that, man. I didn't close many, but I had a goal to at least figure that shit out, man.
I didn't close not one.
Hey, man, it's not as easy as people make it seem, man.
Deal, bro.
I think that's probably the most, and I think I don't know, man. I just for some people it's just easier, man. For some people it's just like they walk in and it's just people trust them. You're young, energetic, charismatic.
You think I know what it was? I believe that I couldn't convince people that I could afford those places. It's like people want to buy something from someone who looks like equal. Like, yeah, what do you think? Would you get this? Like, yeah. I'm looking at these places like, God damn.
Looking at this shit
I'm living in a closet right now. It's like, this shit was
your
crazy,
closet's
bro.
bigger than that place you're showing.
And then when you start booking these appointments and people don't show up, and
Oh man, I remember one
that
time.
was the worst for me.
It's an adventure. It's always an adventure more than anything. That's one thing I remember. It was an adventure. I remember one time gave step-by-step directions. Still got lost. When she told me where she was, gave her more directions how to get to where I was. She's like, I'm just not gonna come. Like I have sat here for 40 some odd minutes, and you have a cell phone you're contacting me from. You can't figure out how to work GPS on that motherfucker.
Like, just follow the
That was really
directions.
like it's that easy. It's that easy. That's simple.
The only place I don't use like GPS is obviously in the city. It's easy to get around, but in Bushwick, everywhere else that I walk, because I walk a lot of places, I'm always using the GPS, bro. Because I don't want to take extra steps unnecessarily.
Nah, I mean, I have a good sense of direction. And usually, I see which way I have to go. I get off the train, check. I don't know where I'm at. If anywhere, like I've always had a really decent sense of direction and which way to go. I don't know. Other than that, man, I do sometimes use it to walk around. Like if I know where I'm at, make sure I know where I'm at and check. All right, I know where I'm at. Go. I don't have to follow it there. But for
Especially if
the
I'm
most
doing
part,
a job, because everywhere I do a job is a different place. I'm never in the same place twice. So I'm walking into these
Yeah.
obscure places. I'm just like, yo, let me just turn this shit on. Leave your headphones on. Turn
Word.
left.
turn left here.
Easy.
Like, man, it's crazy, man. To me, when people, before we bring a guest on, when people do people are doing that, and they,
Did he get the notification?
I don't know. He didn't say anything.
Because I sent it to him already. We're about to bring on Big Zoe. The last time Zoe was on the show, when was it? He was here with, not with Kevin Daniel. Was it Kevin Daniel?
Or Eli Lev.
Eli Lev. That's who it was. It was Big Zoe and Eli Lev. And that was the day that the reporter was here from Bushwick Daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was in the corner taking the notes.
That was a good episode, man. And then we got, had the problems afterwards. Wasn't anyone's fault.
It wasn't anyone's fault, but
No, it was someone's fault, but it wasn't any of our fault. It was negligence, but not on any of our part. And thank God for a construction worker who just knows what something like that possibly going bad looks like.
because that shit looked ugly. That shit looked like it was ready to tip.
Yeah.
And the amount of physical work that we've done in this place, I didn't want to lose this place for that
Man,
shit.
every time I looked at it and the walls going, our wall we did there, man, it's a little sad. Well, I mean, there's so much that was able to be retained, man. It was just like, all right, man, like the panels are still here, and then Danny, any chance you give Danny to remodel or do anything like that, he's gonna, do something fly, which he has, so.
What he did with the kick drum, turned that shit into the bottle shit.
Word. Like all that shit, bro.
Like, this is some crafty shit. This is shit that you'll see in those TV shows like This Old House. You ever seen them shows? Trading
a few
Spaces.
times. Few times.
Those old construction shows on like and what the fuck was the name of the channel?
HVC?
HVC. I was gonna say HSN. That's Home Shopping Network. Did he get it?
I don't know. He said okay. I just text him. Like,
I'll resend it.
yeah.
Because right now we're gonna bring on Big Zoe. Boom. So now's a good time to tell people
So what the fuck are you doing, moron?
once again. Let's bring it back up.
You got him? He said he got the invite.
Oh, is he on now? I think I hear his.
Yeah.
Yo, you on your phone?
Yeah.
You hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm pulling him
Man,
over
yeah.
right
It
now.
would have been better for you to be on the laptop, but Dylan's in school, isn't he?
Say again?
Dylan's doing class?
Should I do it from my computer?
I mean, can you hear us?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm going to put in my headphones. I can hear it better.
Yeah, there
All
you
right.
go. That'd be a better idea there, Slip.
Look, we got him on. Can we get a shot of the laptop here so people can
Get
see this
a-
fantastic technology here?
Ooh, look at us. Got the triple screen, got the triple shot going, man. Yo,
Shout out Sosa.
did you see the Clippers shit the bed last night?
Nah, bro. I was at S Street. Then I had to take care of some business. Then I went right to sleep. Where is he? He's in the crib? He's in his house? I've never
So
been to his old house.
we're just waiting for a second as he gets his stuff together. As he grabs his headphones, I'm guessing he's not even grabbing headphones. I know my brother. He's grabbing his earpods, his AirPods. iPhone used to get really
Earpods.
upset when you don't say that correctly, man. He's grabbing his AirPods, his iPods, the AirPods, whatever they're called. I don't know. I can't get it right. I don't know what you asking me for, man. You know how I feel about these types of questions.
Sons of bitch.
So,
Don't get angry.
what type of headphones are they? What are they pods?
Yeah.
See? you gotta get the dongle to keep them together, or are they in the case?
The
Have you
Apple
lost the
Cult.
whole case?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck the case is.
Oh man, so you guys are witnessing some hilarity right now. As
Listen, you got to go like this. Fuck it.
I mean, can you hear us? We hear you fine. It's you.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, we was just saying, can you hear us, bro? I mean, thank you for the 90 seconds of hilarity there. We appreciate it. Oh man,
What's good, Zo?
What's good? What's good?
Ain't shit, bro.
Chilling, man. Before we get into talking fantasy football, anything from this week, man, we have to talk last night, man. That game 7, bro. Went into the second half up 7. We're down 20 points at one point in the fourth quarter. Ultimately lost by 15. Los Angeles Clippers. Doc Rivers, his third time blowing a 3-1 lead in a playoff series. Some answers, man. I mean,
Well, I'm gonna say first off, you saw a team that wanted it more. The Clippers, they got real. What's the word? You remember that scene from what was it, King of New York? He comes in, he's like, "You guys got fat while we starved on the streets."
yeah.
That's what happened with the Clippers. They got fat and then they all got popped and now they're dead. The team's dead. That's what happened.
It was
Doc Rivers gonna keep his job because Doc Rivers is very likable, and he's gonna keep his job. I'm not sure for how much longer, but them losing 3-1 is crazy. Like you can't talk. They kind of almost remind me of the Cleveland Browns last year when they got all these new guys and
I
they're
mean,
talking all
I
this
want
new
to say
shit.
they were nowhere near as disappointing as the Browns, but I get the extent where they didn't live up to expectations. Everyone's
Yeah,
talking about the Battle of LA for who's going
especially
to the
especially a guy like
championship.
Pat Beverly. The best part to me, was
Dame Lillard
CJ
and CJ
McCollum
McCollum.
and Dame Lillard like trolling them on social media.
It was a I mean, you're gonna have to deal with it, especially. I mean, I feel because Kawhi doesn't run his mouth, man. He shows up, plays ball, win or lose, and then does what he has to do. But everyone else was running their mouth, man, and now he's being dragged into it. Excuse me. I think Stephen A. Smith's comments calling this a legacy game for Kawhi Leonard are way off the line, man.
No,
You
Just
never
totally.
agree with Stephen A. Smith, though.
But you can't call someone who's a 2-time NBA champion and honestly missed the third by a Ray Allen amazing jump shot. Someone who in a great game 7. He's away from being 3-0 in the NBA Finals. Calling this is really what he's 2-2 now in the finals. Calling it a legacy game. You can't.
I think what people what this does though is that people need to appreciate LeBron. Okay, LeBron is finals a bust anytime he's in the playoffs. That's it. Kawhi it's hard to get back to the finals and back to back years. LeBron did it 8 years in a row.
Yeah, yeah. I tell.
It's hard to get back. He couldn't get out the second round the next year. So they need to pump their brakes and all this legacy stuff. They were talking like Kawhi. Like Kawhi's a great ball player, but there's some people ready to put him on par with LeBron and some of the talking heads.
I mean, one
That's
more
not.
ring. I mean, honestly, one more ring, and he's allowed to be in it. By everyone wants to rate it by rings. One more ring, and he's allowed to be
Dude,
in that
after
conversation.
this, no, after this, he doesn't even come close again. He
I
doesn't. He
mean,
doesn't. I mean, he doesn't come close to
he's
that
still
conversation for a while.
he's gonna have a
After
pretty
being up
lengthy
3-1.
career, hopefully. So I don't think this is gonna weigh
Talking
as
about
heavily
Kawhi?
on it. Yeah, as people think. I think seeing what he did with Toronto last year, seeing how good he was for Pop, the way he helped, the way Kawhi, and we have to admit this, the way Kawhi Leonard being there helped extend that dynasty of Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, and Tony Parker. We have to admit he was a bridge that extended those guys' careers. We have to admit that everyone does. So that obviously comes into account. I mean, you could put this where it is. You obviously brought through and lead. It's not only on Kawhi, man. Saying this is a legacy thing for him, just crazy. To me, totally crazy. I don't say he's on par with LeBron, but I say one more ring. Clearly, he won't have a 3-8 record in the finals. I mean, that comes to account. Yeah, you've been to the finals, but you're 3-8.
Okay, you know what? Just like LeBron's record is a stain when they talk about him and Mike. How about this? Not being up 3-1 on the Denver Nuggets and not getting out of the second round, that's a big stain too.
It is. It is.
Huge. Bigger than LeBron losing in any finals matchup they had.
I'll kind of agree. I'll kind of agree there.
Do you think that people like Stephen A. Smith just say things to get a rise out of the fans?
No, I think people like Skip Bayless do though.
Skip Bayless is a fucking idiot, man. For what he
He's a
said
clown.
about Dak Prescott last week, fuck Skip Bayless, man.
He's a
That's all I have
clown.
to say. Is fuck Skip Bayless. That was a. And I
What
hate.
did he
I'm gonna.
say?
Dak Prescott came out. His brother passed over the in the off season a few months ago, and Dak Prescott came out and said, he's been struggling with the fact that his brother killed himself. And during quarantine, that he was feeling emotions he had never felt before. Anxious. Vulnerable. He had no motivation to work out and do his drills and shit that they were supposed to be doing. And he didn't know what was going on. And come to find out it was depression. And this is a man who's going through a contract, almost a contract dispute, but a contract year. And everything he has on his plate. To come out and be this open and admit this, to have a sports guy, a guy behind the desk who's never touched a fucking field since JV or whenever the fuck he played in his life, if ever, since fucking Little League, Pee Wee, whenever the fuck was the last time this guy played a sport, to come out and say that and say I have no compassion, I don't care, you're a fucking dick sucker. Skip Bayless is a dick sucker for that. There's not even a cock. Usually I say cocksucker. He's a fucking dick sucker for that.
That's fucked up.
That's the way I feel, bro. Like, that's a terrible comment, bro, to have no... And then I didn't even hear people said, and then the lame-ass apology he gave after the fact. I didn't even hear anyone talking about it, bro, but you're not...
Now I heard Wilbon. Wilbon took a shot at him yesterday on PTI though.
I feel like Mike Wilbon probably walk up to him and slap some sense into him.
Yeah, Wilbon took a shot at him. Like Kornheiser said something that was like crazy or whatever. He's like, that's a Skip Bayless way of thinking.
It is. It is. That's his backwards fucking way of thinking, man. That's his backwards, stupid fucking way of thinking, man. And just
Yeah.
it shows, man. But it also shows why there's a stigma on mental health, bro. You have someone come out in that position and be vulnerable, and this is what you said, and you think there's no problem with it, bro. Like, somebody needs to throw a fucking like I would love to see like a Brett Favre like just fucking dart right at Skip Bayless's face, bro. Like how Marsha Brady always caught it in the face.
Yeah.
I love to see
Yeah.
that happen, but with like a Brett Favre dart from like 10 yards away, just bam. I love to see that shit. Right in the eye, right in the kisser. I love to see that shit happen, bro. That was just such a terrible comment to come from him, man. It got under my skin, man. Let's talk opening weekend in the NFL, man. Were there any surprises or anything that shocked you out of this past week in the NFL, man?
I think the thing in the NFL that shocked me the most, I would have to say, would be how old Tom Brady and Drew Brees both looked. That concerns me.
I think not
I
getting the
want to say it's one
preseason.
game. I want to say it's one game, and it's only the first game of the season, especially for Tom Brady. I feel like they ain't have no preseason and whatnot, So I don't want to. I'm not gonna ring the alarm. But yo, they looked old.
You
They
saw.
looked old, like Brett Favre in his last season with the Vikings look old.
I don't think they look that old yet, but they look like they're a couple of games away from that. If this isn't just we didn't get a chance to have 1 and 2 preseason games to at least get our arm strength, see the way we feel, know how guys are actually going to run the routes at full speed. This is everybody's first time at full speed, but they did look exceptionally old out there, man. Brady, I don't know what it was, and I think having Bruce Arians when before. You had Bill Belichick wouldn't really throw you under the bus, but Bruce Arians came out and said, he fucked up. It was a mistake. What do you want? He made it was a terrible mistake. He made a bad pass. Bill Belichick never did that. I think that's different for Brady. I think Brady may realize, maybe I should have walked away with my legacy intact. I have 6 rings. 5 rings or 6 rings does Brady have?
Listen, I respect Tom Brady for not doing that. Like, hey, I still want to play. These guys don't want me. Fuck them. I'm gonna go show him. I'm gonna show him I can still play. I respect him pushing it all to the center of the table, and I ain't mad at that. But I think he's gonna get better. He just didn't look good.
He's a 43-year-old man.
I was about to ask you how old he was.
I'm gonna be 44 at some point this season.
Lorenzo,
He wanted to play till 45.
real quick, turn your phone horizontally. I want to see if you go landscape. Nah, that shit's not going landscape. All right, you can put it back. I thought it was gonna go landscape.
What I was going to say. Also, it was not unexpected, but it was shockingly horrifying how inept and how bad the New York Jets football team is.
Ooh-wee. I was waiting to get to that, man. I was going to talk about that, man. I thought the Jets were going to look bad.
I looked up at one point. They had 18. The Buffalo Bills had 18 first down. This is towards the end of the first half. They had 18 first downs to the Jets 1.
When it came to, I'm gonna say a couple things when this was going on. When the draft came, I wanted Josh Allen. That was number 1. I wanted Josh Allen. But we're gonna get into this quarterbacks. I wanted Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. After our last experience with a USC quarterback, obviously we know Mark Sanchez, the Sanchez, great start, horrible ending here in New York. I'm turned off a USC quarterbacks. There hasn't been a great USC quarterback come out of there since really Carson Palmer, and that's debatable. So have that conversation. I wasn't looking forward to Sam Darnold in the Jets uniform. He had some moments, but really when that was happening, I really looked at Josh Allen when I saw that. I was like, if they're gonna take it here, if they miss, I'd rather them miss on Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield than an unathletic USC guy. And right now, this is about the 3rd time Josh Allen's done this to Sam Darnold and the Jets in his career. The Jets look terrible, man. I told everybody knows.
Yeah, they got spanked that time we went to the last Jets game we went to.
And that was Matt fucking Barkley. That was Matt Barkley, a terrible USC quarterback. The guy before fucking Sam Darnold. Another terrible USC quarterback who everyone thought would be a first-round guy, went back to college, ended up in the 5th, 6th fucking round. Fucking terrible.
Like, hey, drinking's more fun than watching this shit. Let's go back to the parking lot.
Yeah. I think we had more fun going back to the parking lot and finishing off drinking while it was emptying out, man, waiting for everybody. Because, after the game, everybody trying to get out, you're stuck in traffic, and we still had food and drinks, so we was like, fuck it. We went out after the game, we was throwing the football around and kept drinking until the parking lot was empty.
Was that the picture y'all took with Vela?
Yeah. Jets got worked that game. What was that, like 45-13 some shit?
I don't remember. I got drunk and forgot about it.
We got, we got drunk. This motherfucker got drunk, like he got a different level of drunk that day. Like it was fucking nuts, man. That was a really good time. And I told everybody it was crazy too. It was so cold, but the fact that we were in the upper deck and we were in the sun, the only time we felt it really was when a cloud would pass the sun. We'd be shit, it's cold again.
That's when this shit get real chilly.
Yeah, man. But once that was clear, we were right in the sun, so we were warm, man. But it was a fun time, but the Jets got work. I expected that, man. That's why I was so adamant on making sure I got the Red Zone channel set up. I wasn't gonna waste my time on a Sunday afternoon.
Red Zone channel.
Watching the Jets.
I ain't gonna waste my time watching any Jets games.
Nah, I knew I had a feeling the Jets weren't gonna win that one.
Only time I'm gonna watch a Jets game is if they're a Sunday night game, that's the only game on, Or who the fuck is ringing my bell?
Up. Seems
So
like
is it safe
got
to
a
assume?
package.
Is it safe to assume that there's no Jets players in your fantasy game and your
Who
fantasy
is it?
No, I don't
teams?
have a single Jets player on my fantasy roster.
At least a delivery.
Yeah.
I didn't order nothing. Next time knocking at my door with some free shit, I'm gonna take it though.
But probably just trying to get into the building.
Oh
It,
shit!
it was crazy though, man. To see how bad the Jets look, man. To see how bad a few teams look. To see the way the Eagles got up and then allowed the
No,
Washington
what? No,
football
what? No,
team.
what's equally shockingly horrifying
What's up?
was how bad that Giants' offensive line is and how
Oh
they're
my
ruining
God.
and wasting Saquon Barkley's prime years.
Oh my God! Like he was able. Like how could they possibly look worse now than they did the previous 2 years? Is what I want to know, man. 'Cause
Yo, that's why in
that was
fantasy
bad.
football, I
That was
stayed away
bad.
from anything Giants or Jets related,
I
except for
kind
the
of.
quarterback
I
because they
mean,
got to throw a lot when they're down.
I mean, you know that he's eventually gonna get his touches somehow in that offense, man. But I just think that I think that that was just terrible the way I saw that, man. The way I saw some of those plays unfolding for Saquon, the way things went out there for Saquon, that the way things were going. We have to see how it's gonna work out, man. With this whole thing, man. I think Jets and Giants are both in for rough years. I think the Jets are gonna go around 4-12, maybe 5-11 if they're lucky, and that's a big if. Giants on the same road. I think that whoever wins the NFC East is gonna be in that 9-7, 10-6 range. Seeing Bill Belichick and Cam Newton already having a little bit of chemistry, that he's already molded his offense for Cam.
That offense isn't gonna run like that all year. You can't do it.
No, you can't, but he's gonna be able to figure something out. Him and Cam will figure something out.
But it's like somebody said. I was watching. I forgot who said it. I was watching on ESPN, and somebody was like, "They're only running him, and they're gonna run him like that because they're not gonna sign him to another contract after this year's over. They're gonna beat him and run him into the fucking ground. And hopefully, I hope for Cam Newton's sake, he realizes that and he stays healthy and he gets down and gets out of bounds when he's have to, so that he can get another contract during the offseason and not have to do this shit again."
I think that he can lead them to the playoffs. I think that if he leads them deep in the playoffs, it's going to be tough for them. If you really had that much faith in Stidham, considering the contract you signed Newton to, he'd be starting right now. So I think that obviously you didn't have that much faith in him from the jump. You made him a captain this year. You don't just do that, especially not a Belichick. Some other teams I can understand, but Belichick doesn't just do that. So I think that if Newton can deliver, if they can figure out a way to pass, you're not going to pass the same way as Brady. But if you can figure out any way to get that offense sort of maneuvering and rolling, then I mean,
Honestly, what makes you think it could work with him and not Tom Brady when he has the same cast that Tom Brady had last year?
I mean, that you got a bit more arm strength. I mean, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. I do think they still need receivers. There's things they need to figure out, but I think it's Bill Belichick, and we've seen Bill Belichick achieve with other quarterbacks, man. So, I mean, what he was able to achieve with Jacoby Brissett, man. I mean,
He almost got to the playoffs that year with Matt Castle.
he did get to the playoffs. No, I mean they were in the. They didn't get to the playoffs that year because of like percentage points and win losses and that weird. You need this team to lose and this team to lose, but also these guys to tie or win. Like it was crazy.
Matt Castle got a contract out of that, so kudos to Bill
A
Belichick.
pretty big contract. I mean, look at the contract Matt Flynn got out of that one, little bit of a run in Green Bay, man, and then, lost the job to Russell Wilson.
Oh, I hate that motherfucker.
Yeah, man. That was
You know how I feel about Papa Russ.
I know how you feel about him, man.
Papa Russ.
But let's talk about him, man. The way they threw the ball all over the place, man. That was kind of, I don't want to say thought it would have happened, but they looked pretty good.
For the purposes of what we're doing here, all right, I will say kind words about Russell Wilson in that capacity, but outside of that, it won't ever happen again. Okay, outside of sports. That being said,
Can I ask you one thing? Do you feel about Russell Wilson the way I feel about Jimmy Rollins?
The way you feel about who?
Jimmy Rollins.
Nah, I think it's a more deep-seated hate than that.
All right. Jesus, yo, you know what's crazy? You know all right, for those of you who don't know me, you know I'm a
Shit.
diehard Mets fan. Jimmy Rollins was a shortstop for the Philadelphia Phillies legend. And my saying is, fuck Jimmy Rollins. If you're a Jimmy Rollins fan, fuck you too.
Listen, honestly, Russell Wilson, he's on my Mount Rushmore of athletes I hate, along with Tim Duncan,
Why-
David Robinson, and Karl Malone.
Yo, I
Okay,
never understood your
he fills
hatred
out
for Tim Duncan.
my Mount Rushmore. Okay,
Tim Duncan's one
and
of my
you know
favorite
why
players.
I hate all of them.
I think Tim Duncan is my favorite basketball player all the time. I never understood your hate for him.
Did she send you the?
I got the reasons why I hate all of them is more for a different day, but also after this last thing, I mean, we're getting a little bit off topic, but after the Last Dance came out and these allegations, which are true, against Karl Malone and his underage girl uh, activities, he had a child with one.
Karl Malone?
Karl Malone. He had like
Yeah,
sex,
he's a
like when he was
fucking
in
creep.
college. He had like sex with like a 13-year-old girl or some shit.
What?
Karl Malone
Isn't
is a
that kid like an
fucking creep,
offensive
bro.
lineman for the Ravens or some shit? His son ended up in NFL, but at
Jesus
first, when the
Christ.
kid found out his dad was like 12, 13 years old, he found out and met Karl Malone once. He's like, I can't be in your life. Now Karl Malone wants to help him. Wants to,
Karl Malone's a
have a
creep, bro.
relationship
He's
with
probably
him.
the worst of them all.
Yeah, man. Hearing about that shit, learning about that shit about Karl
I
Malone,
ain't
man.
hear about that before.
Yeah, man. That's proven.
Yeah,
you know?
people. It turns
The
out that
mailman.
if you're out of the spotlight, and then you decide to come back into the spotlight, and people do some digging, they find out some fucking things about you.
That's crazy.
And that was something that was
That's
known.
that celebrity shit, bro.
That was something that was known. Like back then, just not widely known. There were people who knew about that shit. It just wasn't widely known back then. Yo, before we wrap this
What a
up, before we
dirty
get out of
bird.
here, bro, you won your fantasy game last week, right?
In our league, yes, I did. Yeah,
You lost in the other league?
yeah.
No. Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. I want to say your guy who you played Fred, and I know Fred has a wild work schedule. I feel like he had 2 inactive players on his roster, man, guys who didn't start, man, and I feel like that bailed you out, man. Just want to throw that out there. Looking at that scoreboard, I feel like that bailed you out. Just want to throw that out there. And you were still not
Bells
in a
me
great
out.
place having 2 inactives.
Well, you know what? Guess what?
What?
Guess what, Kamish?
What's up?
It's your job to get in contact with people and look at people's rosters. Guess what? In my other league, I'm the commissioner. T had a guy who was injured. I was like, yo, T, you need to take this guy out. He's gonna be out for
Actually,
the
I
game.
didn't.
He's
Actually, I didn't
replacing
notice
my
that shit
running
until
back.
after the game started when they said Kenny Galladay was out, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I hope I don't have him. And I went to do something, and I saw the roster. I'm like, yo, why is this? I was like, fuck, he started. And I saw somebody else.
You're
who was
passing
up.
the buck, Kamish.
Nah. Hey man,
Okay.
I never had an inactive roster, an inactive guy play. I had some people
I already
sit on
told-
my bench
listen,
and have big games.
When I spoke to Fred, I told him he should be appalled and disgusted by his fantasy football performance this week. I told him this win, I get no joy out of this. He ruined my whole week. It wasn't even competitive.
That's
He
what
ruined
you.
my
Jesus.
Yeah.
It wasn't competitive. I get no joy. I get the W, but I get no joy
Hey
out of
man,
it.
I don't even remember that happening too many times before, man. In our previous leagues, man. Too many inactive things, man. But I'll
I'm
be
not-
sure to keep an
listen.
eye on it. I know everyone else is sure to keep an eye on it, man. But I want to thank you for coming on, man. You want to tell the people where they can follow you if you want to see your bullshit memes you like posting, having so much fun.
First of all, them shits are hilarious. That's the first thing.
First of all, you realize I stopped sharing memes in the group chat because you want to steal mine and never give me credit?
Yo, son.
Yo,
like,
you
what the
reshare
fuck?
so
Yo,
many
what the
people's
fuck is
memes
this
and give them
show?
credit. You never give me mine, bro. Like, all I'm like, yo, I'm the one who shared it. Just be like, yo,
We
little
want
bro
to
with
say
another funny
at,
one.
At Mr. Zoe Taylor, this shit was funny.
Yo, you hit other people who be like, yo,
At
this shit
Zoe
had me
Taylor.
dying. This
Good
is
look.
hilarious. Ha ha ha. You can't hit your little brother like that, bro. Show your little bro some love. I'm just saying, bro.
Listen,
I
man,
love you too.
I'm a serial meme stealer.
Yeah, you are. And you give a lot of people credit, just not your little brother.
Listen, this guy wants credit for
Brotherly
memes,
love.
bro. That are on the whole internet.
I'm
that
just-
could probably
I'm just
find-
saying.
If I stroll down a couple of more fucking times, I'll find that same meme somewhere else.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. I love you too, though, man.
The fuck.
But
Love you too, retard. No, I
I,
can't say retard. Hey
you,
guys, I'm sorry. I mean that.
He's gonna get us
It didn't even
banned
come
from.
all the way
yeah, bro.
out. That's like the
Jesus
guy saying,
Christ.
yeah, no, it didn't come out. You didn't get me. Didn't get me. Didn't get me.
Yo, that's Michael
Didn't
Smith
get me.
cursing live on air that day, bro, on his and hers.
Nah, but my IG is was it ZO_86. I keep it real simple. I'm thinking about changing my shit because a lot of people change. I haven't changed that shit in like 6 years. I think I'm gonna have to change it because I'm
Nah,
getting
leave
bored
it,
with
bro.
that.
I've never changed
Leave it.
mine, bro. I'm
Leave
not
it.
changing, bro. Once mine is up, that's what it is, man.
I'm
You know
still.
what I'm
I'm
saying?
King Roach. I've been that shit for years and years.
Mr.
Yo,
underscore
how many
Zotilla.
times has Nook changed his name?
This year
He went from Blu-ray to 4K.
to
To
high def
King Nook.
It's like what the
e-finance. Yeah, I love the
I try to
brother.
tag him and
Like
say,
when like I have
it's
to.
annoying. It's annoying because when you try to tag somebody, you know what their IG name is, and you try to tag them in something else, and then now it's not coming up. It's like, what the fuck did you change your name to? And now I have to go out, I have to start all over again. Like, come on, bro.
So good, brother. But with that, man, I want to thank you for coming on, man, having this segment with us, a little bit of Zone Knows, man, a little bit of old school fun, man. We'll link up and do this again soon, man. You know, I said I'm going to rotate it with guests, bringing other people from time to time, man. So I'll hit you up to do this again soon, Slip, all right? I'm shocked you up this morning. Tell Dylan I said what up, brother.
All right, GSF, we do the fucking, you heard?
GSF,
We do the
baby.
fucking yerp.
There you guys have it. That was a another segment.
That's another segment here on Good Morning Bushwick. You had a little bit of Zone Knows with two Zoes, and you had I'm King Roach sitting in. So, you know, at this moment, we're going to get ready to patch in our next guest. We're going to have, I think it's going to be one of our better discussions we've had, man, because we're going to have a wide range of discussion about some things, some important things.
How long have you known her? Because I feel like I've heard her name for a while.
I mean, you guys used to chat on IG before.
I remember. I just don't remember when that shit started.
It was when we did Bud and Roach, but I knew her from when I first started at DMB years ago. I mean, years ago. Talking like when I first started there.
So now we're talking mental health.
Yes. And, you know, it's crazy. We just had that talk about what we just said with Dak Prescott, but even with that, just for other things that are going to come into, you know, with that discussion. So.
Do you take, like, you always telling me to drink water and shit like that. Do you take time during the day to meditate? Oh, she's on already.
Oh, look at that. See, yo, it took Lorenzo like 7 minutes to get the invite, bro. My brother's such a moron. What's up? Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
What's going on? How you doing?
All right.
I'm good.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm happy to. Thanks for having me on.
I feel this is going to be a very fun but also important, wide-ranging discussion. So for those of you who don't know, this is my former coworker and someone I consider a buddy, Kristin, and someone who's a champion for mental health wellness, I'll say right now.
Is it Schrumpf?
Trump, yeah.
Trumpf.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I
saying
never got
Scrump
that
for
right.
years.
I've been saying Scrump for years. I've been saying that the whole time, man. But I'm terrible. I'm horrible with names sometimes. That's why a lot of people got nicknames back in the day. But I asked you to do this a while ago, long before even Corona happened. We had planned on doing this, and then obviously the Rona hit. Things got way out of hand. There were quarantines, everyone all over the place, and then the whole social unrest that happened after things appeared we might get an opening that led to, you know, longer background. But now we have it happening. So this was a long time in the making, this talk. And, you know, one of the reasons I want to tell, you know, I tell you, and I speak to you sometimes on the side, and we have these talks, is that a lot of people don't ever want to discuss mental health. They go through it, you know, alone. You know, people feel like they don't want to be a burden on others, and people treat people like burdens. And I mean, even like we just discussed earlier, like I said, what this dickhead Skip Bayless said about Dak Prescott last week, is that there's like a stigma on it, so people just don't want to discuss it, man. And you're one of the people I see openly on, you know, on social media discussing your, you know, path with it. So, you know, just tell the people what's going on with you or what happened, whatever. You know, you said everything, so.
Yeah. So I personally have bipolar disorder, bipolar 2, and complex PTSD. It's something I guess I suffered from forever, but I wasn't diagnosed with until last year. I'd been misdiagnosed my whole life. So I think that's also a problem with mental health, like trying to figure out exactly what's going on with someone. Um, and also like people going to the a therapist, they don't want to go because they don't want that diagnosis. People don't understand that you have a problem either way. It's about like if you have a broken arm, you're gonna get a cast, right? Your arm's broken whether or not you put it on. So it's kind of like that. To heal, you want to go and get help. But for me, I think the worst part was my CPSD. Um, about 12 years ago, I was raped for first time, and then I was abused by two relationships after that. So I was basically in 7 years of like nonstop abuse. Um, so that I have complex PTSD, which I found out is very different than actual regular PTSD. It kind of warps your whole way of thinking. It warps your how you think about yourself, how you work, how you interact with other people, and it's a really hard struggle. About a little over a year ago, I tried to commit suicide actually, um, due to flashbacks from my PTSD. So it's been a long road and it's been very difficult to get myself together and hold together and even admit that I had these problems. But I think the biggest thing right now to end the stigma is we have to be open about what we live with. And that's why I want to be so open about it. I went through a lot of this stuff alone for years without telling people. And I just got myself into a worse and worse place. And I started turning to alcohol, and I drank nonstop. And you just push things down. But once I finally started working on it and got the help I need, I think more people need that. And they need to be more open about it so that we can get more people help, I guess.
So as far as being diagnosed with it, you go, you sit with a therapist, you run down everything that's going on in your head, and then they tell you this is what you have and this is how to deal with it.
Well, they don't always even diagnose you. I only was because of my hospital say last year, but sometimes they don't even diagnose because it's putting a label on things. But they will help you work through your issues. So you could sit there one day and I could just vent about my life. That could be one day. Another day, I could talk about for my PTSD, for example, if one of my triggers is when I get yelled at. If a man like yells at me, I shut down. So, for example, my father, who I know would never ever hurt me in his life, he raised his voice one time, and I went into like I broke down. I was a mess. Like I tried to run away. Like it was like just run out of the house. I was a disaster. So with that, I can talk to my therapist. She gives me the mindset. She tells me what to look for, helps me get my mindset to like step back and realize, okay, this is my dad. He's not going to hurt me. Um, they really walk you through on how to do that and the way of thinking so you can pull yourself together.
So once they've helped you identify the triggers, do you get past the triggers or do you just try to stay away from them, or like how does that
Yeah.
work?
So for example, like the triggers, it depends on what they are because the hard thing is, for example, something could happen to you on a daily basis, and all of a sudden one day it triggers it. Like for example, my abusive ex, he used to put the black ice thing in his car, the air freshener. I could sit with that all the time and wouldn't have a problem. Then one day, all of a sudden, I'll have a panic attack because I smell it. Other things though that I now my therapist helped me recognize though this feeling I get inside of myself when it's on that when I start getting worked up about those things. So I'm able to practice these things called like it's mindfulness. So you step back and you just kind of try to pay attention to everything around you, all the sounds, everything you're feeling from like your shoes to your clothes. And you can step back and really feel that and put yourself back in that exact moment that you're in. And you can kind of remove the thoughts and say, okay, is this person really going to hurt me? Yes or no? The smaller things like the black ice in the car, I pass that. Like I'm good with that trigger. I know how to handle that now. But other things, if someone covered my mouth, that's another one. And like I don't face that daily. That's something that happens a
Yeah.
lot. So like, but if one of my friends like jumps on me and covers my mouth for something stupid, I haven't gotten over that yet. But things you face on more of a regular basis, you're able to stop. Um, but it does get easier to manage the triggers. Um, Now I don't have flashbacks as much. I used to have them at least a couple times a week, and I would never sleep. Now I might have one every couple months. It never goes away completely, but it gets easier to manage.
It never, like I tell people all the time, some of the stuff just never goes away. You just learn to manage it. He knows that I did therapy a few years back for about 2.5 years. And at first I didn't tell anyone. The only ones who knew were my immediate family that I was going to therapy, and I didn't tell anyone, man. I was telling people, I was doing anger management, just because a lot of people knew I had anger issues throughout, job, other issue I've dealt with. So that's what I tell people until I honestly admitted I was going to therapy and dealing with other shit too, man. And finding out, even my therapist asked me to break down everything, asked me about my life, how I grew up, relationships with people in my life. And when I went after my grandmother passed, and I was having a really rough time dealing with it, and he told me I never fully processed, my great grandmother passing years before, and I never grieved that properly, and that compounding with other stuff going on, and it's like, that all adds up, and people don't realize it and don't think to address it until it's too late,
Yeah.
man. And I've told everyone in my life, man, after doing it, I feel the difference. I know the difference. He helped me. And even when he told me, I told him, like, sometimes, like, he told me, like, I had anxiety issues. And he was like, you don't, like, get mad. Like, some people, you lash out and get angry from what it sounds like when you have anxiety. And he's like, you, like, noticing what's coming on and how to deal with that. And, I mean, I've done better with it. I don't do great with it, but I've done better, like, someone who's close to me as you, who've seen knows.
Oh,
But
yeah.
other people still will occasionally see that side of me, and I'm not proud of it, but I do know what triggers me and stuff, and it comes from going to therapy. I'm a firm proponent of people doing therapy, man. Even like you
I
said,
don't think
just to have a
therapy can
conversation.
ever go wrong. Everybody in the world, even if you don't have issues, you can benefit from therapy.
Yeah,
You know, it's just a place for you to vent about whatever you want in your life, and you can get help to rethink what you're going through, even if it's just like somebody going through a breakup or just having trouble with work. You can just get it all out.
I had a lot of discussions about work when I was there. I was doing real estate when I was there. I had a lot of discussions about work and shit in the office that was bothering me.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
what do you guys think about the pharmaceutical industry and how they handle mental health and the kind of drugs they try to pump into people?
So this is actually a really interesting for me. I actually, up until I got laid off thanks to COVID, I was working in pharmaceutical advertising. I was on the more back end of it. I was managing like hiring people and everything like that. But I think so. For me, there are certain medications. I've tried to manage all of this without medication, and it's impossible to for me. I think it's different for everyone. I think that many pharmaceutical agencies, what I don't like, or that they shouldn't. I don't believe that they should be pushing the drugs on people. I think the fact that I think like we should be advertising yet to doctors maybe, but I don't think it should be necessarily on TV all the time. I think it should be taken on a case by case basis. I mean, I also know some pharmaceutical companies who really push drugs on people. I think like the opioid problem is huge. I worked with for a period of time. We had to drop our client because they were trying to push opioids to their people just so they could get them on this other drug to basically battle the side effects to opioids. So
That's
but we drop
insane.
them. So it depends
That's
on
fucking
each.
nuts.
And that place has been sued. It was, that place has gone down. But it is kind of a strange. It's a weird situation because I wouldn't be alive without the medications I'm on. But I don't think everybody needs to be on them that is. If
I
that
think
makes sense.
I think one of the big problems what you're saying is like direct to consumer advertising, and that's the amount of money that's spent to get in these magazines to see these
And the
ads.
fucking
It's
commercials.
like one of our first recorded podcasts we did years ago
was
with
just
that
about to
pill.
say that.
When we had to blink the name out, and you're essentially selling people a pill that if the pills you're selling them for depression doesn't work, it's like, hey guys, take this. This should make them work now. And if it doesn't, it's gonna make everything way worse. You say that. If it doesn't work,
Yeah.
guys, this is
30 different side effects.
and
to
it was
just
terrible.
cure one
Listening to this,
problem.
like, how do you give this to people? Like, I remember, I mean, but I know that the pharmaceutical industry is meant to do good, is out
Yeah.
there to do good, but the manner in which they go about their business doesn't do good. It does more harm than good.
It's when they
Pharmaceuticals
get
are meant,
greedy.
yeah,
Basically, I think doctors are the ones. Doctors know about medications. Like you can't go in and be like, look at something on TV, and be like, I know I need that one. I mean, it takes them in a right a long time to get like the cocktail of medications you necessarily need, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about the doctors. I mean, you really don't know what medication's going to work for you. They do. So reading a magazine and coming into the doctor and saying, I want to take this, it's ridiculous. Every single one works differently for every single person.
Yeah.
So
and every chemistry.
when you say you were in pharmaceutical advertising, were you doing commercials? Were you doing spreads on magazines?
We were doing a lot of direct to healthcare professionals. That was the majority of what my company did.
So no
So I
direct to
think that's
consumer.
kind of the right way of going about it. I think we should be getting like the information on those drugs to doctors so they can better understand that medication. They can get all the science behind it and everything like that, and they can better prescribe it to their patients. But I don't think necessarily that they should be. I don't think it should be advertised directly to the patients. But I basically the ones I worked on pro bono clients. Like we have a research foundation to cure AIDS and stuff like that I worked on. So we also gave back a lot too. But my company, there were actually in other places in my company, yes, they were doing magazines and commercials. But I was at my direct company was not.
I think what's fascinating about advertising pharmaceuticals, especially direct to consumers, the commercial always looks pretty.
Oh man.
It's always like somebody dancing in the field, whether it's fucking Claritin or whatever the fuck it is.
Like they have
It
the
could
one
be-
for what is it?
It's like-
Valtrax, the shit for herpes, man. Like hiking and shit. Like guys, let's admit, like the herpes doesn't look that fun.
You got a bunch of people smiling and high fiving and just
Well, I will say what I've learned is so concepting was one of my favorite things to sit in on. But the concepts that the creative team pitches, it changes. Like they're great ideas, and then because of the FDA, because of the clients, they get taken apart into like these weird commercials that they come out of. Like no one understands them. They're like, okay, what is going on? But in the beginning, the idea behind them is great. It's just like get torn apart by the FDA. So.
Oh man. I would love to sit on one of those and see how that happens.
Oh, it's really, really cool actually. It's so fun to watch how their minds work and how like they team together and come up with these like such creative ideas for it. It's so cool. But then as you watch it, like it's really funny to watch it. Like then each round go by and like more things get pulled out. It's very interesting.
I would love to see that.
So like the top depression medications, from what you guys know, do they just numb you, or do
I've
they?
never taken any
Some do.
medication. But
I
a
think
lot
it
of
depends
people.
on each person. Some could. I mean, some people say the ones I'm on now are great, but I know other people who will feel like robots because of it. I know some people who like their sex drive is gone. I know some people who gain weight from them. So it's all different, and you have to find the one that doesn't make you feel like that. Because there probably is one out there. It's just you have no one knows just by really until you try it. It's trial and error. So some definitely do that. Some did that to me in the past. So now I found one of them that doesn't. So I think if you are willing to try and push yourself and talk to your doctor and be honest about everything, you'll find it eventually.
Yeah. That's one thing. Like people I think honesty, man. Being honest and open about things, man. I think a lot of people just don't want to be honest when they feel it's easy to just power through it. They'll get over it eventually, and I mean it doesn't go that way, man. And I feel a lot of people, the longer you see people do that, man, is the worse it gets for them, man.
The way I always explain it to my friends who don't understand is I say, even if it's like something like I'm having a bad moment where I cannot leave my bed for a day. People don't understand that I physically cannot do it. Like I want to so bad. I don't want to be laying around like miserable all day. I want to be out doing things, but I cannot do it certain days. So what I explain is like it's like you play basketball, right? And during a game you break one of your arms, and your team is like, okay, just play anyway. And you're like, I can't. My arm's broken. And like, I want to play, but I can't. And you're like, well, you have to. Like, you're being lazy. You're just dropping it. No, like, I can't. My arm is broken. And then if they go to play, it's going to get worse. It's going to keep getting worse and worse. And then you're going to have a major problem down the line. So, I mean, it would be a major problem then. But I think that's the way to look at it. It's just like any other thing. It's like, or like diabetes. You have to take medicine to treat that. And you have to you just have to follow and track every mood you're feeling. And I think, it's just really hard to nail down.
So outside of just one-on-one therapy, patient like contact, do you guys? What do you think about like support groups, people
I love it.
gathering?
My my mom, she I can't remember what it was for. She went to a support group when I was in high school, and I forgot what it was for. And one of our counselors ended up being in that same support group who she ended up knowing through me, and it was weird. It was just weird. I forgot what it was for exactly, but it was. I feel like it was something related to how everything went down with the J Dubs. I want to say I don't know
Yeah.
exactly, but she met someone through there. Man, it was when I had my cast on my hand, so it was my freshman year. And I don't think she was in the school much longer after that. But I remember that, man, and my mom liked it. I know people who've gone to support groups. I know people who've done AA. I know people who've admitted like being there, hearing other people's stories. Admitting, other having other people there that are there that have been on the other side of it, and even people who have been around that have relapsed. I think people I know with drugs that have relapsed that try, and it's like being around that structure at least helps them to a certain extent. And knowing that there are other people who are fucked up like that and that you can still bounce back and recover from that. And there's a lot of people that think one simple fuck up, and it's not murder, some wild shit.
Yeah.
One simple thing is gonna ruin your life, and some people think that, and just it leads to a terrible fucking spiral. And they do worse shit to hide it, worse shit to, worse shit, and it compounds. And
The only support group I ever went to, this was many years ago,
don't, shit, you're about to make me laugh.
and it's funny. It's funny because I was forced to go here. It was called MA. It was Marijuana Addicts Anonymous.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So I didn't think there was anything. I didn't think there was anything wrong with weed. I still
Yeah.
don't.
I don't, like, I'm high right now.
So we're both high. So,
Mine helps manage my PTSD actually.
but I was with someone that wanted me to go to this meeting because she thought that I had a problem. And when I go inside the meeting, I saw that there were people there that actually had a problem with weed. Like it was actually something that was interfering with their lives. Like they was fucking up their lives. So just seeing them in this setting, because I didn't really take it serious, and maybe I wasn't supposed to because I am Roach.
Nah, but, I mean, here's the thing. When you told me that, and I remember you telling me about it, it was like, yo, I can't picture it. It's just like, I tell you, but I know there's people that do that. There's like, yo, like, get high all day, don't do nothing. But it's like, yo, when I know I have shit to do, I can't get high. I got some shit to take
Yeah.
care of. I wanna, but I could do that shit when I get home. I'm gonna go make sure I take care of business. So when I get home, it's like, oh, we getting high. Like, I'm gonna get high all day. Like, that's all I'm gonna do after that. But
I'll get high. I'll just hold off on drinking.
nah.
Yeah, well,
So-
I just quit. I'm not technically an alcoholic, but I was drinking to definitely self-medicate. I became like, it was my way of actually just forgetting my issues. And I drank a lot, but I tried to go to like an AA, and I realized those people had more problems. Like, I think that like people, they caused more problems. For me, alcohol took away some of my problems. I became too dependent on it, but I could go a week if I wanted to without. I didn't want to go a week, so I usually didn't. But I when I went to AA, I just didn't relate as much to those people. I think that alcohol was ruining their lives, but like my life was ruined, and that's why I turned to it. And like they place all this stuff on the higher power, which is great for them, but for me, like I feel like I'm doing the work, so I don't want to be helping something else for the work that I'm doing. But I think group is. I started doing a group in when I was in the hospital, and it was so great. First of all, I never would have thought like a psychiatric hospital. The fact that I was in one, like I still kind of laugh because I was like, oh yeah, I used to like drive past them and call them the loony bin, and here I am in a loony bin. But it's actually an amazing place. I getting to see other people who are exactly like you, feeling the same way, and finally feeling understood. I think that's was so helpful. I think for years people have mental illness, like you're not understood. Like people see if people run away from me when if I tell them I'm bipolar, I they run. So it's like so nice to talk to people who go through the same things. And I'm on a lot of like Facebook groups. I don't delete Facebook because I'm in all these support groups on there, and I have friends who have mental illness who now know to talk to each other about things. We look out for each other. Like we can tell if somebody doesn't, if someone goes off the face of the planet for a few days, okay, they're probably suffering. So let's get in touch with them. Um, I think groups can be very, very helpful.
Does your bipolarism ever extend itself into rage or just sadness?
Mine is more, so I have both. So it's not necessarily rage. It's mania. That's what people think it is, right? So everybody assumes that it's rage and everything like that. Where not isn't necessarily. For me, what my mania is, I don't sleep for a few days. The first day of it, I feel incredible. I think I'm on the top of the world. I think I am the best thing. I think I'm a genius. Like I think everything's just working out. I cannot remember what it's like to feel sad. So I just think I'm on top of the world. And then the next night I don't sleep and then I start to get jittery and my mind won't stop running. So I will forget everything I'm doing. I'll like start a million things and I'll jump from thing to thing, but nothing will get done. I will like just sit on the couch and for I think it's like 10 minutes, an hour will go by. And as time goes on, it gets more frustrating. I lose track of what I'm saying in the middle of sentences. Um, I just am very much all over the place, cannot settle down, can't sit. Like it's so that's more of my mania. And like anything, like when I'm depressed, I am a mess. Like I will a depression nest. It's like you just throw things. You don't clean anything. It's just like blankets all over, clothes all over. But when I get manic, I want to clean all of that up. I want to like organize. Um, I'm kind of just on top of everything. So actually, I like almost at least the first day or so of manic episode. I think the depression is way worse. Though some people do act rageful. Um, but a lot of us don't, and that's why people are so scared when you tell them that you have bipolar. Like, oh my god, this person's gonna like freak out on me when that's not the case. It affects people different. Like I have bipolar 2. Bipolar 1 is more of the definitely mania, and that has more of the rage
Yeah.
part of it. But bipolar 2 is more of the depression that you have bursts of this other energetic side.
I think it's crazy that when you think about mental health, it's such a wide scope of
It's
things.
such a wide spectrum. It's a wide thing. It was so wide
It is.
ranging, and so much goes into account and taking care of it and making sure that you take care of at least your own, or can notice if someone else's mental health is sort of waning, and how to not weigh on them and be there to help them if you possibly can. And know that if they need you to step back, and if they need your help, to be there to help and not be a hindrance and be like, hey, just get up, let's go to the park. Why the
Yeah.
fuck are you in bed? Why are you in here with the shades closed? You've been watching Netflix for the last 2 days, 3 days, bro. What the fuck? Like that doesn't help. That doesn't help the
Doesn't at
situation.
all. It just makes you feel worse. It just makes you feel like, okay, yeah, I'm a loser. I can't get up. And like you almost forget that you feel this way because of your mental health. You believe that maybe you are just lazy. You like hate yourself for it. But I think the most helpful people in the world that don't have it are kind of like what you're doing here. Like if people want to learn and people want to talk to you, people just want to understand. You don't have it is. I appreciate that so much because I know people that don't suffer from bipolar or PTSD. I know they don't get it. They're not. I'm not going to expect them to get it. But the fact that they're willing to understand and learn, makes all the difference. And
When
just to be there to support. Even my doctors say I might not want to go out, but my friend just forces me to get on a FaceTime. Great, that's something.
That's interaction.
Yeah.
That's communication.
Yeah.
that's at least interacting with the outside world in some way. I can't remember what I was about to say a second ago. I totally lost my train of thought there. Shit, I was about to say something.
I was gonna say something too, so I'll say it while you gather your thoughts. I feel like I suffer from minor depression. I go through my phases. It's never gotten to the point where I'm like crippled in my bed and I don't want to get out. But like I'll be in a great mood, like you said. I'll wake up thinking I'm on top of the world, and somebody will say something to me that just puts me at the bottom of the dirt, and then I'll just feel like that, and I can't get myself out of that. And I've been that way for a long time. I've never gone to therapy. He's tried to get me to go to therapy a bunch of times. I never did it.
I know your mom has tried too.
So
My
therapy
mom-
would be so helpful for that.
I'll be honest right now, and I don't know how much your mom's gonna like me for saying this, but when me and your mom had that discussion about it, and that we both went
I don't think she
after
watches the show
what happened
anymore.
to my little cousin, when she spoke to me, that his mom always treated me decently as the next door neighbor and his friend, but hated the fact that we were stoner potheads, that I was smoking the hallway, that sometimes our apartment smelled like weed because of me, and
She calls it grass.
it caused friction in our relationship. And my little cousin attempted suicide not far from where we live, man. And we didn't know it was him. And we were there that day. We were right there across the street, and we had no idea. And when everybody found out, like, she was one of the few people that was really not asking questions, but really, how are you guys doing? How's he holding up? How's everyone holding up? And really, she was open with me about everything. And she also knew we weren't communicating great at that time. So I guess she didn't know who I was talking to. And I guess she knew that maybe if I was talking to Fucko, he wasn't the greatest ear.
Yeah.
So she tried to be an ear, and that really helped us. When I saw her, not last week, the week before that, bro, she was with Jose. They were driving by. I wanted to reach in the car and give her a hug so bad, but with the Rona and everything, I couldn't. But I wanted to reach in the car and give her a hug so bad, bro. I didn't see her in almost a year at that point, man.
And y'all live down the block.
Yeah, this.
It's so weird though, because I feel like I don't know if you guys know like the Robin Williams quote where he says like the people who have it like the hardest are the ones who are nicest to everyone else and want to care because you don't want anyone to feel like you do, and I really believe in that. And also what's interesting too is for me, like I've tried to commit suicide I think twice. Once I talked my way out of getting hospitalized and said like that's not what I was doing, but I think what happens is like the day I tried, I was out with my friends and I was having the time of my life all day. Then all of a sudden I went home, had a flashback, things snapped, and I went down to a bottle of Xanax basically. So I mean, it just snaps and comes over you, and I don't think people realize that either. Sometimes it's just a fast thing. I mean, I knew I wasn't good mental health wise at that point, but it was scary to know that something so easily could just switch.
David Spade was Kate Spade's like brother-in-law. I mean, she divorced his brother, but like that's how she got her last name. They were, and he said they were still close. And when she killed herself, he said that if she could have just spoken to someone for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, that she wouldn't have gone through that action. He said he knew she had her ups and downs, and like she wouldn't have just totally went off like that. And I think people need to realize that someone in a second is like how easy, just pick and choose your words you say to people. Like, because you don't know what could set someone off, man. And I definitely wouldn't want that on my conscience to know some shit like that. Like, honest to God, I wouldn't want to know, like, if I said something, sent someone spiraling down a path like that, man. Like, it would break my heart to know some shit like that. Like,
it's so funny because people are always, like, messaging, like, oh, I'm always here, like, all that kind of stuff. But then when you, like, reach out to them, they don't know what to do either for help. Like, I have one time I, like, messaged a friend who said they would be there because I was really struggling. I don't know. I'm not capable of handling this. It's like, okay, all I needed you to do was talk to me, but all right,
not capable of handling it. Like, even if I'm not capable of handling it, like, I'm gonna still try to talk to you and actually, like, what do you need from me? Is there anything, like, if you're in the area where you need one to come by, you want to burn one, you want to come play some games, you want to watch a movie, like, I got the Blu-ray collection, I packed the Xbox up, like, what do you want to do? Like, that's what I'll try to do if someone hit me like that.
It's you just want to listen to them. Like, all it is listening and being there for them. Give them a hug, talk to them. Like, just listen to what they have to say. No one expects you to have the answers. No one expects you to like know how to get them better. It's just having someone in your corner.
It goes back to the Anthony Jeselnik joke that everyone on social media is just like, don't forget about me today.
I'm still here.
It's like every time, like, are you sober?
Yes, I'm 1 year and 1 year 1 month sober.
Because I see you on Facebook. Congrats on celebrating those things. So I would see a lot of people just comment, and if you just went spiraling down, like let's say you go get a bottle right after this shit, and you just say fuck it, man, and you start drinking, and you call those same people, they're not probably gonna be there, bro. It's just like they just want to be a part of the feed. They want to be a part of the timeline. They want to put their emoji and get over.
I think about that all the time. Like, I laugh at, like, not to say, I mean, people do try. Like, I'm not saying it's ill-intentioned. I think they really do feel better, like they're proud or whatever, and they're great. But I mean, I know that it's very few people. I mean, the amount of friends I've lost since I've stopped drinking, that they didn't necessarily lose them, or just they faded away. They stopped checking in on me. They always said, okay, we'll go out somewhere where you don't have to drink. We'll have fun. That never happened.
Because they like the wild you.
Exactly. That's what it felt like. I just realized, like, okay, when I'm not drunk, I'm not fun anymore. Is that what it is? You only like me when I'm like the life of the party. Like, you don't like me for who I am. And that's a really sad thing to realize. But you also find those friends. Like, one of a girl that I was friendly with, but I wasn't all of that close to at the time. She all of a sudden stepped into that role. She was sober too. She checks in with me constantly. She's like, I have a lot of friends like that too. So you really kind of find out who your real friends are. But it is like laughable to see some of the people that comment and stuff, and you're like, you're not gonna care. You don't really care if I picked up the drink. You'd probably be like happy I could drink again, like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like people who I know that like I don't like I know people who like I don't mention drinking around certain people who I know like sober other people. I had no idea someone who told me who we used to work with. I was like, holy shit, I had no idea. And I was like, god damn. And when they told me, I was like, I'm glad I never really spoke about any of our rager nights around him, any of those crazy nights I had around him. Like there's like some small triggers for him. Like
Bro,
some people told me.
how many times have I came to your house and say, I quit drinking, bro. I'm done.
And then every time you do it, I don't show up with drinks. Anytime I show up at your house and you're like, yo, I'm not drinking. I'll hit you up, yo, I'm on the way. You're like, yo, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm giving it up. Yo, cool. Hands up. I don't bring a drink. Come to the chart. I don't mention drinking. We working. We do whatever we doing. I come over 2 days later. He has a 6-pack. Asking me if I want a beer. Like, what the fuck happened in 48 hours?
So
I know so many people who do that though.
This is my thing. I used to use alcohol. Just it enhances whatever emotion I'm already dealing with. So it's not that alcohol makes me sad or it makes me happy. If I'm already sad, it's just gonna make me more sad. If I'm already happy, it's gonna make me more happy. So it was just a matter of me trying to check my own situation, check my brain, to tell myself, yo, you don't have to feel like this right now. Every time, because I used to be somebody that went to the bar all the time by myself. And I would be there with a fucking laptop like it's a cafe and knocking back fucking IPAs and Pilsners and shit. And to me, that was just getting work done. But then something would happen, and then I close the laptop, and now I'm just there drinking by myself, and I start to feel like a loser. And then I go outside, and I see everybody smoking and drinking together, and I'm there by myself, and nobody's calling me. And then now it just becomes a downward spiral. So it depended on the day, but to me, I stopped thinking that alcohol was the make or break, because I haven't said that I'm going to stop drinking anymore. I keep drinking, but now I just don't drink every day. Now I just drink when I want to drink.
Going to cut back. That's all. And that was a problem. That's the thing I couldn't do. I'm never one that I was always the first one at the bar and the last one to leave. I'd go. I'm friends with so many bartenders, and I love each one of them. But it usually started because I was there alone and wanted to talk to people. I wish that I was able to, well, maybe eventually I will, and that's what I hope, to be able to like go to a wedding and have a drink if I want to. But I think for most people, that's what you got to do. It's like, okay, maybe this isn't healthy. Maybe drinking every night isn't healthy. I'm going to cut back, or I'll go out for 2. For me, if I had that one or I had 2, I just keep going, and I couldn't stop. For me, it always
I couldn't just have 1 or 2.
That's why every time people say that with me at work, like when like I don't drink a lot, but when it's like when it's like we going out after work, want to go grab a beer after work, we're not grabbing just
There's
a
no
beer.
Such thing as
it's
one
like
beer,
everybody,
bro.
they hit us with it all the time. They're like, yo, Zoe, you're not grabbing just a beer, bro. So it's like even it's why when I would ride down with June after work. When I ride down with him to Max Fish on Fridays and Saturdays, where I got to the point why I wouldn't go inside, because if I went inside, I was guaranteed to be staying there at least an hour and a half, 2 hours drinking and not paying. And it's like, I couldn't even go in there to pee without getting the beer put in my hand, without getting the drink, without, let's go do a shot downstairs real fast. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'd walk into bars and they have a drink ready for me when they saw me. So it's like,
I love that I have bartenders
here.
Yeah, exactly. It was. It always fly. One of my favorite bars, they had a glass that was just for me. No one else could use that glass. They kept it on their cabinet, and it was. It says, "I do what I want," with the cat giving the finger, and that was my glass. So the minute they saw me come in, they filled the vodka cranberry up and slid it my way, and that was it.
Cause she wanna go where everybody knows her name.
It was. I was so Norm Peterson. It's unbelievable. It really was. I'd walk into this place and everyone would know me. Everybody would come up and give. It was just for me, it was fun. It was Cheers. I loved that show. But then I realized maybe life shouldn't be Cheers. That's a show for a reason.
Yeah.
It only takes place in a bar for a reason. If your life is Cheers, it's time to reevaluate.
I think one of the things I
Exactly.
wanted to discuss here, because you brought up us sobriety, is one thing I think a lot of people don't pay attention to, and I think a lot of parents aren't knowledgeable to, is how young kids start drinking nowadays, man. Like when I'm around like 21, 22-year-olds, when I was still working at my old job, when I still worked for DMB doing security, and I'm around kids who are like 21, 22, even some that aren't 21, and they're talking about how they drank or how they would drink, how they drink in high school, how they still drink. It's like, man, I remember drinking at that age, but I didn't really start drinking hard until around 21, 20. And like
Yeah.
these kids are like talking about in high school how they were getting
Yeah.
fucked up like this. And I think if people are more knowledgeable to that, how that could lead to, a dependency issue later in life. I don't think people realize even that, man. Because I know some people that are, for lack of a better word, I won't say alcoholics, but,
Alcohol
dependent-
abusers.
Yes, alcohol abusers. And
Yes.
don't acknowledge it. Consider it a normal thing, and it's cool. It's cool. That's totally fine. But beyond a certain point, there's some people who don't. I think aren't knowledgeable to it, and because they've seen it, they've done it so normally, they think everyone else does. And
Exactly. That's why I didn't think I had a problem either. Everybody else was doing it too. You think that it's so normal because, I mean, my industry, advertising is very similar to Mad Men, honestly. We had drinks in the office, like every Friday. Everybody would go out to drink for lunch. It would always be like, meet at the bar, we'll get our laptops and have a meeting. It was so for me, it just was a part of the
Your
everyday.
lifestyle,
That's
it's
just what
work.
you did.
it's a part of the life, man.
And I never thought that was abnormal. I didn't. I thought by staying out to all hours of the night and being the first out of the bar, that's just normal. You don't realize it's really a problem until you step back and realize that, like, why is it that I can't do anything without having a drink? Like, why is it that I don't want to go to anything? Like, I really wouldn't have gone out to certain places if I didn't have a drink first. Everything was about finding a place that had drink, finding bars. It's not right.
Yeah, man.
And there's so many people who still do that, and it's just like so many people who are like, at a certain point you have to grow up and realize that that's not healthy. And so many people, I see it into like 40s, 50s. You see people doing that all the time, and
It's fun
sometimes
to
it
have a drink. I tell people I realized I was becoming a bit dependent on alcohol, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this with me. When we were at DMB, the way we would go out every night after work,
Yes.
man. And I realized,
Hurley's.
like, yo, like we should, like Hurley's, like, and yo, it got to the point where, yo, my theater where I was working before Corona was the theater right next door to Hurley's, to where I had to make it to the point where, yo, I would only go in there Sundays in between shows, and that's because I had a 2-show day and I wanted to watch football the little bit I could, and I would have lunch there. But it got to like, yo, I'm right next door here, but like back, I was like, if I was working here when I was younger, I couldn't have survived this. It's like I was 6 blocks away and still found my way here every day.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's insane, man. But like I think
We were
I
there,
still
every
like
night.
I cherish those memories. But it's like, yo,
Yeah.
like I'm working 5 nights a week. I'm drinking hard 5 nights a week. Like it was
yeah.
crazy. Like it was
I'll
wild.
never
man.
regret the times. I will never regret that. I think those are fun years of my youth. That was like ridiculous. I have like the most wild stories from like being out of it, and it's fun. I don't regret any of that. But it's time to grow up. And
Yeah.
It's time to get my act together. That was being a kid. Now it's time to be an adult and figure out what works and what's healthy.
It's
And what's going to sustain your life
Yes.
long
Yeah.
term.
making
And
smarter
make the life
choices,
you want.
adult choices, man. The life you want, the life you want to live, man, and being acknowledgeable of the fact that you've made choices that have put yourself in these positions. And
Yep.
I think a lot of people can't do that. I think that's one of the things with therapy also is like acknowledging the position you're
Yeah.
in, and like that. Like, hey, I played a part of myself being here, and it didn't
Yep.
take the world, the man, everything coming down on me. Yeah, in some instance, but there's a part you yourself playing that. A lot of people can't acknowledge that. Before we wrap this up, there's one thing I really have to talk to you about that I want to talk to you about. Can you explain to us, or at least tell us, what was it like being on the pre-show coverage for the UEFA,
Oh my God.
Champions
It
League?
is-
For Champions League.
The hell you
This
talking
whole
about?
thing has been like wild. Like I created my fan club with I had to ask my mom to sign up for it, so I had 11 people to be a part of it. And now it's like 350 members from 25 different countries. And so I have all these, like, I get, like, I've been flown out to places when UEFA called me, they sent me an email, like, they found me. I didn't, like, reach out to them. That was the most wild part. When I saw an email, like, hey, can we interview on our pre-show? I was like, I lost it. I was like shaking. I stayed up for like nights. I was studying. I was like, I don't know anything. I know everything about this team, and I didn't believe it. I was like, oh my god. I was so nervous, but then when I was on it, then they asked for me back, which is still I can't really believe that this is happening. They're supposed to be actually emailing me soon too to see if I could be on the show regularly as their Bayern fan voice. So it's just been a
cool.
world. It's so cool. It's so
That's
fun.
cool. I'm pretty sure the Mets will never do that for me, man. I've said some wild things about the Will. Well, no, they sold the Will. Thank God the Mets have finally sold. Thanks, sweet baby Jesus, they finally sold. The Wilpons are no longer owners. It should be finalized by the end of the year. But one thing I remember is when we did have it, man, was me, Vela, and my brother would argue with you on Facebook about who was the Dark Knight, who got the Dark Knight moniker. And here on air, I have to say that your guy, I believe it was Boston Schweinsteiger, right? That was what you guys called him? The Dark Knight? Who was that on Bayern?
At the time it was Lewandowski. No, it was who was the Dark Knight? They were calling Lewandowski that because he had the face mask. At the time he had broken his nose, he had like that mask on. So
yeah, we had a decent argument about that, but I have to say your guy's career lasted, and our guy he flamed out pretty quick. So I just want to throw that out there. Kristin, man, I want to thank you for coming on, having this amazing conversation.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I think everyone who heard this heard some good. I think you asked a lot of amazing questions, man. I think people will listen to this and think you booked the guest, man. Usually people can tell.
I don't know sports, but I know mental illness.
Yeah, man. Like you asked a lot of great questions, brother. You held it, man. I want to thank you for coming on, Kristin.
Thank you.
If you want to let the people know where to follow the Bayern team or anything you want people to follow for you, anything.
Oh yeah. If you could, for Bayern, it's Bayern Red Ladies on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. That's just follow us. It's a pretty amazing group of women, and it's awesome. And I'm at Schrumpf says what? So it's a long one that no one would be able to figure out anyway. So.
Yeah. So once again, I just want to thank you for coming on with us, having this amazing conversation, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll hit you in a bit.
Yep, sounds good. Talk to you
later.
Soon. Bye.
This was good.
That was a good one, man. That was a good one, bro. That was a phenomenal one, man. I hope that
I'm saying you and Lorenzo, y'all went a solid 30, 40 minutes on sports. I had shit all to say.
I mean, you said a little bit, man, but that was a very good conversation. And when I asked her, I told her just be as open, as candid as you want to be. And you tell me what you don't want us to ask, I'll let you know. She said, I'm open book. And I appreciate that. I think that's an important conversation for people to hear, man. I think for kids to hear. For young people to hear, especially, man, young professionals to hear. That's
going to sound good on the on Anchor.
What? Yeah, that conversation.
Yeah,
that's a very good. Just like I said, important for young people to hear that conversation
right
went, man. And just see the way like life compounds, the way things happen, and just know that there's a way out, man. It's not as bad as it seems in that moment. And acknowledging it, man. A lot of people don't, and I'm glad she came on. That was a great. That was one of our better guests we've had on the run so far.
Remember Craig Ferguson? He had the late night show. He did a monologue on his show one time years ago, and I remember seeing this shit, and it choked me up because I understood what he was saying. And he was talking about how before all this shit happened, like he was really, he was in the bar all the time. And he had to go somewhere. He was supposed to catch a flight at like 3 o'clock, and he went into the bar at like 1:30 or some shit like that. And he didn't leave till the next day. And then he started crying. Like he felt like he was an alcoholic and all these things. So he would try to stop drinking, and it would never work out until he realized that he didn't have a drinking problem. He had a thinking problem because he thought that his dependency was the alcohol, and it was everything around that. It was the camaraderie from being at the bar with people that are inebriated just like you are, and you can have these open conversations with people that you wouldn't be able to have in the street with sober people. Nobody wants to talk shit when they're sober. So for me, it was the same thing. It was just like I drink a lot, But at the same time, I don't drink and go into rages. I drink and I get work done. So it wasn't like that before.
If I would drink too much of certain things, a rage was possible, and I would have to overdo it, but it was possible, man. Acknowledging that and seeing that, man, it's like, yo, I can't keep doing this shit. Like,
No,
I'm young.
but like last Saturday, I drank. I pounding shots, beer, shot, different shit. And I felt like I was drunk, like I was fucked up. But I was like still in somewhat of control. Like I was controlling my emotions. I was still engaging with people. I wasn't shutting down and just going into my own head. I still stayed relevant to the situation. And that was around family. I went to Long Island after everything. So it was just, I feel like now I have somewhat of a grasp on how I feel when I'm drinking, as opposed to last year or the year before when I would just drink and just free fall. So to hear her say that, even after a year or a year and a month of not drinking, that she still wants to be able to go to a wedding and have a glass of champagne, she's going to reach that point where she realizes that it was never an alcohol issue. It was a soul and
And I
mental,
think,
bro.
you heard her already. She acknowledges that's what it is. She wants to reach that point, and I hope for that, because I remember having drinks with her back then. It was always a fun time. But knowing people, man, people that I knew had problems, man. It's like, man, like when they tell me they were sober, it's like, hey, man, you want to catch a ball game, anything, like anything, like. It's just people just acknowledge. Usually, people can acknowledge it, and sometimes there aren't people who are true alcoholics. Like I said, they're alcohol abusers, and when you like take that second to acknowledge, step back, and want to look forward, it's a lot of people just need that break. I know people that will take a drinking break, and when they come back to it, they have some
smoking
fun.
break too.
Take a break, take a smoking break. I've told you, I'm
Like
taking.
people be like, yo,
I've took
I don't
smoke-
even feel like I get high no more. Stop smoking for a week or two. And
I've
hit that
taken-
shit again.
I've taken smoke breaks. Yo, after I've only taken a break for like a couple days, and you feel the difference.
Yeah,
but like,
bro.
But then these are people who just steaming them. You know me, bro. Like I hit my bong, and I'm not hitting it again 5-6 hours because I'm fucking stoned off my ass.
That's
Like
why
I'm
my
not
weed
sitting there
lasts.
ripping the bong all day, fucking every 20-30 minutes. Like that's crazy. Like I would get a headache doing that.
There's a difference between me and you having a couple of drinks and getting some butter and roast shit done, as opposed to me and you having a couple of drinks, watching Apple Pie or American Pie too.
Too. Yeah,
And
couple
me
tall boys.
fucking
Need to crawl
crawling
home.
across the hallway.
Crawl home, man. Those were the days. Bag of Doritos, couple tall boys, and American Pie,
God
man.
damn.
It's funny,
So,
man.
before we check out, let's just remind people 30 Days to Rock for fall 2020, September 22nd through December 21st. We're going to have live in-studio and mobile broadcasts breaking out that Merv.
Breaking out Merv. And you guys know what that means, man. That means we are less than a week away from the beginning of 30 Days to Rock 2, fall 2020. It's going to run from September 22nd to December 21st?
21st. So just around before Christmas,
Going to be the whole night. The fall equinox?
something like that. And then there's just a lot of shows that like you saw everything that he's booking right now. So it's just like this is gonna be the one that tops 30 Days to Rock Part 1.
30 Days to Rock was amazing, but 30 Days to Rock Part 2? Deuce.
Número dos.
Numero dos.
So
It's going to be it's going to be amazing, man. It's going to be amazing. You guys will get to see that back area showcased again. You'll get to see some amazing acts. We saw some phenomenal acts on there, and I know some of the acts we had on. He said Necrotic Society is supposed to be back, and the lead singer has another project
Daisy
who's going to be
Skeleton's coming
back.
back.
Daisy Skeleton's supposed to be back. I'm pretty sure he'll have some other guys. I'm pretty sure Pitt Brothers band will be back.
Pitt Brothers.
We'll get some of that nice, good old Dave Pitt velvety smoothness.
Velvety
it's great
smooth.
shit, man. But man, it's only all this amazing shit only happens here at First Live Studio here in Bushwick, Brooklyn, 219 Central Avenue, 11221 in the County of Kings, man. You know what I'm saying?
And everything streams live on 30days2rock.us. That is the one place that you could find everything going on
The
here
one
at First
place
Live.
and the only place you can find everything going on at First Live right now. Anywhere else you see it as a fugazi, as a wazi, as a boozy, just let
It's
us float
fairy
away.
dust. It doesn't exist. It's
not
never
real.
landed. It is no matter. It's
There you
not
go.
fucking real.
There we go. I had to sucker him into that one. Had to get him. I got a little. Oh. And with that, you guys know where you can get everything Bud and Roach related, man, over at budandroach.com.
And you can follow us at Bud and Roach on Instagram.
Because we do the fucking yurt. That was a good one. That's a good closeout.